It's been about 7 months since the Ahmedabad crash, and yet we don't have any answers about what led to the AI-171 crash. Instead, there is now a complaint filed by different pilots' bodies and even the families of the pilots, including Captain Sabharwal, who was the pilot on AI-171. His family too is speaking out because we are now hearing that the pilots' relatives are being called in for questioning. In fact, there is a complaint that has been written and a legal notice sent to the AAIB by the pilots' body asking why pilots' relatives are being summoned for the investigation and whether there is an attempt to harass pilots. Now, this is a claim that is being made, and the pilots' family is also speaking out. Captain Ehsan Khalid is joining us on the show. I'd like to go across to him to get a better understanding of what is going on in this investigation. Captain Khalid, why would the relative of a pilot be called in this particular case?
This is quite baffling because we have not been told the reason unless there is a witch hunt going on and they are trying to find out what was the psyche of the pilot. That means there would be one conclusion that they drew on the first stage, that the psyche of the pilot itself was not right. Right. So they would now be trying to find out the corroborative evidence that yes, the psyche was not right, because one of the relatives said that, he was fighting with someone or he wasn't very cordial or something. That's all that can be a secondary or a hearsay evidence that they're trying to collect. But I haven't heard of any such thing that has ever been taken by an aircraft investigation board without declaring that the reason for this particular accident is pilot's deliberate accident. Once you come to that conclusion, then you could be doing all these things. You can't be looking at family, friends, neighbors' statement and then say, well, this is the reason what has happened. And that is what is wrong and very disturbing. Because first, pilot AIB has to declare that we have closed all technical points. We have closed all engine failures. We have closed all battery problem. We have closed any technical thing that could have led to this particular thing. And we are now convinced that it was a deliberate act of pilot to kill the aircraft. Having made that statement, that means the investigation has closed. Then they would say that fine, now we will start investigating the psychological angle of this particular accident. But that doesn't seem to be the thing. And that is what is disturbing.
Normal, because we've never heard of a case where the relative of a pilot has been called in for investigation. We saw very strongly worded statement that came in from some of the pilots' bodies, and there has been a concern that since the beginning of this investigation, somehow the airline, in this case Air India, for all the maintenance or lack thereof, and then also how Boeing, they have been somehow, let off the hook, if I can say that.
Yeah, have we heard of a similar kind of a thing, that the Boeing designer who designed the battery and its routing system has been called? No, that line of investigation is dead.
Yeah. And why do you think that's happening? Why do you think that's happening?
Pilots' relatives being called for investigation, that means the conclusion that they first said has actually been arrived at. We should know. If that be the conclusion, we should know. Not that, 10 relatives said this and who said what, under what pressure, I don't know. But the thing is that, to go on this route, the technical reason of failure must be closed and declared so. That has not been done as yet.
Family, in fact, what I want to know is the family has gone to court. They've gone to the highest court. This is Captain Sabharwal's family, and they have asked for this attempt to harass the family of the pilot somehow. You see the wording of that report that came in. It was the same AAIB report where there was an attempt to somehow put leave that question mark on the pilot in that report. You remember we discussed that report in great detail.
Yeah.
Does it appear that they've made up their mind in this case?
No, they made up the mind on the first 48 hours itself. They haven't changed the mind, and that is what you're telling me. What the mind was made in first 48 hours has not changed a bit. That is what was the complaint that Captain Sabharwal's father had gone to the board, FIP had gone to the board, to the Supreme Court, ALPA had gone to the Supreme Court, that please change this mindset, approach this investigation with an open mind. But that doesn't seem to be there, because they haven't changed their stand a bit. This news that you are giving me, that they are calling the relatives, it's just showing the first 48 hours of line of thinking.
Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it at that, Captain Khalid. Let's see where the story goes, because Captain Sabharwal's father is also going to speak to Republic in a short while from now. Let's see what he has to say, because it's a very, very mysterious move. We don't know. We don't have a response yet from the DGCA or the AAIB on why the family has been called. But this is what we have so far. The story of how another pilot related to Captain Sabharwal has now been called in for questioning in the investigation of the Ahmedabad crash.
Okay.
The Federation of Indian Pilots has accused the AAIB of harassing the family of deceased pilot Captain Sumit Sabharwal by summoning his nephew in AI-171 crash probe. FIP has issued